The sound of the slap echoed through the reception hall. Conversations stopped, music faltered, and 200 pairs of eyes turned to witness my father's hand across my face. My mother gasped, more concerned about the scene we were causing than my staining cheek. "You selfish little brat," my father hissed, his face red with rage. "After everything we've done for you." I touched my cheek, tasting blood where my lip had split. My carefully applied makeup was probably ruined, but I couldn't bring myself to care. I was too busy processing the absurdity of what had just happened. My name is Victoria Chen, and at 29, I'd just been assaulted by my father at my brother James's wedding because I refused to give up my penthouse to the happy couple. James and Anna need a proper home to start their family, my mother had insisted minutes earlier, cornering me by the dessert table. "Your penthouse is perfect, and you're just one person. Be reasonable, Victoria." The penthouse they wanted me to give up was my pride and joy. I'd buy it with my own money, earned from years of working 60-hour weeks as a software developer, while James bounced between failed business ventures, living off our parents' generosity. I built something for myself. "No," I said again, my voice steady despite the trembling in my hands. "The penthouse is mine. I bought it. I pay for it. James and Anna can find their own place." That's when my father stepped in, his face flushed from too much champagne and self-righteousness. "This isn't a request, Victoria. Your brother is the man of the family now. He needs this." The man of the family, of course. James had always been the golden child, even when he was failing. His latest venture, a cryptocurrency startup, had collapsed spectacularly last month, taking his investors' money with it. But somehow, I was the unreasonable one for not wanting to hand over my home. "The answer is still no," I replied, keeping my voice low. "And if you bring this up again, I'm leaving." That's when he slapped me. Now, standing in the sudden silence of the reception hall, I saw everything clearly for the first time. My mother's performative concern, my father's entitled rage, and James, dear, precious James, smirking from his seat at the head table. Even his new wife, Anna, looked smugly satisfied, as if my humiliation was exactly what she hoped for. I straightened my spine, looked my father directly in the eye, and smiled. "You'll regret this," I said, my voice carrying in the silence. "All of you will." Then I turned and walked out, my heels clicking against the marble floor, leaving chaos in my wake. I could hear my mother calling after me, probably worried about what the country club members would say, but I didn't stop. In my car, I finally let the tears fall, but they weren't tears of sadness. I was angry. No, I was furious. Years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who never asked for handouts, and this was my reward. Being slapped and humiliated because I wouldn't give my home to my freeloading brother. My phone started buzzing with messages. "Mom, come back inside. You're embarrassing us." "James, don't be dramatic, sis. We can talk about this." "Anna, your brother deserves that penthouse more than you." "Dad, you will give James the keys tomorrow. This isn't a discussion." I turned off my phone and started driving. Not home. I couldn't face the penthouse right now. Instead, I headed to the one place I could think clearly, the small coffee shop where I'd spent countless hours coding and planning my future. The barista Mike took one look at my face and brought over my usual order without asking. "Bad day?" "My father slapped me at my brother's wedding because I wouldn't give them my penthouse," I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. Mike's eyes widened. "Your penthouse? The one you worked 3 years of overtime to buy?" I nodded, sipping my coffee. Apparently, my brother needs it more than I do. He's the man of the family, after all. "That's insane," Mike said, sliding a chocolate muffin across the table. "On a house. You look like you need it." As I sat there, watching the sunset through the cafe window, a plan started forming in my mind. My family thought they could bully me into submission. They thought I'd roll over and give up everything I'd worked for. They had no idea what I was capable of. I pulled out my laptop and started typing. First, emails to my lawyer and financial advisor. Then, a series of code commits to my private GitHub repository. Finally, a call to my real estate agent. "Remember that oceanfront property we discussed?" I asked when she answered. "I'm ready to make an offer." By the time I finished my coffee, the foundation of my revenge was laid. My family wanted to take my home. Let them try. But they were about to learn that the quiet, accommodating daughter they took for granted had disappeared the moment my father's hand met my cheek. This was war, and I intended to win. The next morning, my parents showed up at my penthouse unannounced. My father stormed past the doorman, who'd already called to warn me they were coming. I met them at my door, dressed for success in my best power suit, laptop in hand. "Where are you going?" my mother demanded as I locked my door. "We need to talk about what happened." "Work," I replied simply, walking past them toward the elevator. "Some of us actually have jobs." "Don't you dare take that tone," my father growled, grabbing my arm. "After your behavior yesterday." I yanked my arm away, my voice ice cold. "Touch me again, and I'll have security escort you out." And yes, I have video of yesterday's assault. The country club's cameras caught everything. That stopped them both short. My mother's face paled. "You wouldn't?" "Try me." The elevator arrived and I stepped in. "Oh, and change the locks all you want. I've already moved everything valuable to secure storage." The doors closed on their shocked faces. I waited until I was in my car before letting out a shaky breath. Phase 1 of my plan was in motion. Over the next week, I ignored their calls and messages, which grew increasingly hostile. James sent flying monkeys, mutual friends and relatives trying to reason with me. Anna posted passive-aggressive social media updates about selfish people who don't support family. I stayed silent and kept working. What they didn't know was that I'd been preparing for something like this for years. Not this exact scenario. I never expected my father to actually hit me, but I'd always known they'd try to take what was mine eventually. That's why I had receipts for everything. Every penny I'd earned, every bill I paid, every improvement I'd made to the penthouse. I had security cameras in every room, backup codes for every lock, and most importantly, I had leverage. You see, during those years of being the responsible daughter, I'd also been the family tech support. I'd set up everyone's computers, phones, and email accounts. I had access to everything, including James's business records. On day 10 of radio silence, my mother tried a new approach. She showed up at my office with tears in her eyes. "Your father is sorry," she said, settling uninvited into the chair across from my desk. "He was just upset. You know how he gets when he's worried about James." Worried about James? I kept typing, not looking up. Or worried about what James' investors might do when they find out where their money really went. Her sharp intake of breath told me I hit a nerve. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said carefully. "No," I finally looked at her. "So you don't know about the offshore accounts? The shell companies? The consulting fees James paid to Dad's business?" The color drained from her face. "How did you?" "I'm very good at what I do, Mom." "Did you really think I wouldn't notice when James used my old coding projects in his crypto scam?" "It wasn't a scam," she protested weakly. "He just made some mistakes." "Fraud isn't a mistake. It's a crime." I turned my laptop around, showing her the documents I'd compiled, and Dad helped him do it. She stared at the screen, her hands trembling. "What do you want?" "I want to be left alone. No more demands, no more flying monkeys, no more social media drama. The penthouse is mine, end of discussion. And if we refuse?" I smiled, the same smile I'd given them at the wedding. "Then these documents go to the SEC, along with the video of Dad assaulting me. I'm sure the investors would be very interested in where their money went." "You destroy your own family?" Her voice cracked. "You did that when you demanded I give up my home. When Dad hit me. When James smirked about it." I turned the laptop back around. "I'm done being a family doormat." She left without another word, but I knew this wasn't over. They'd be angry, desperate even. But I had one more card to play. That evening, I received a call from my real estate agent. The oceanfront property, a luxury apartment complex I'd been eyeing for months, was mine. The same complex where James and Anna had been hoping to rent their dream apartment. I logged into my private GitHub repository and pushed the final changes to my latest project, a property management system I'd been developing on the side. The same system James had tried to steal for his failed startup. My phone buzzed with a text from James. "Mom told me what you're doing. You can't prove anything." I smiled, sending back a single screenshot of his private server logs. His next message came quickly. "What do you want?" "Distance," I replied. "Complete and total. No contact, no demands, no family obligations. The penthouse and my life are off limits." And if I refuse? Then I own your dream apartment complex, have proof of your fraud, and enough documentation to bury both you and Dad. Your choice. The typing indicator appeared and disappeared several times before his response came through. You've changed. No, I wrote back. I just stopped pretending to be who you wanted me to be. I put my phone on silent and walked out onto my penthouse balcony, watching the city lights flicker to life. The sun was setting on the family I'd known, but I felt lighter than I had in years. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about finally, truly becoming yourself. 3 months after the wedding incident, I sat in my penthouse living room, sipping coffee and reviewing tenant applications for my oceanfront complex. The property was proving to be an excellent investment, especially after I implemented my management system. My phone buzzed with a notification. James and Anna had been evicted from their luxury rental after failing to pay rent for 2 months. I wasn't surprised. Without Dad's financial support, which had dried up since my revelations about their fraud, they were finally facing reality. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. Through the security camera, I saw my father standing there, looking older than I remembered. For a moment, I considered ignoring him, but curiosity won out. What do you want? I asked through the intercom. 5 minutes, Victoria. Please. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. He stood there, shifting uncomfortably, his usual confidence nowhere to be seen. James and Anna are moving back home, he said finally. The apartment, they couldn't afford it. I know, I own the building. His head snapped up, eyes widening. You? But how? Because I'm good at what I do, Dad. I always was. You just never noticed. He seemed to deflate, leaning against the doorframe. Your mother misses you. We all do. No, I corrected him. You miss having someone to push around. Someone to sacrifice everything for James. That person doesn't exist anymore. I was wrong, he said quietly, about everything. The slap, the demands, protecting James. I've lost everything because of it. It was true. After my threats of exposure, he'd been forced to step down from his company's board. His reputation in the business community was in tatters, though I'd never actually released the documents. The threat had been enough. You haven't lost everything, I said. You still have your golden child. Isn't that what matters? Victoria, please. We're family. Family? I laughed. Family doesn't demand someone give up their home. Family doesn't hit you in public. Family doesn't smirk while watching it happen. He flinched at each point, but I wasn't done. You know what I realized after the wedding? I've never needed any of you. Every success I've had, every achievement was in spite of you, not because of you. I know, he whispered. I know that now. I studied him. This man who'd loomed so large in my life, who'd seemed so powerful and intimidating. Now he just looked small. 5 minutes are up, I said, starting to close the door. Wait. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. Your mother wanted you to have this. It's an invitation to her birthday dinner next week. We would really like you to come. I took the envelope but didn't open it. I'll think about it. After he left, I sat on my balcony, turning the invitation over in my hands. Part of me wanted to throw it away, to maintain the distance I'd worked so hard to establish. But another part, a stronger part, knew that true victory wasn't in perpetual estrangement. It was in having the power to choose my own terms. The following week, I did attend my mother's birthday dinner. I arrived late and left early, speaking little but observing much. James and Anna sat in sullen silence, their designer clothes replaced by department store brands. My father stayed sober, watching his words carefully. My mother tried too hard, her smile brittle with anxiety. They were all walking on eggshells, afraid of the power I now held. But I had no interest in wielding it like a weapon. Instead, I used it as a shield, protecting the life I'd built for myself. Over the following months, a new family dynamic emerged. They learned to respect my boundaries, to accept that I wouldn't be their safety net anymore. James and Anna found modest jobs and a small apartment they could actually afford. My father stayed involved but distant, sending occasional emails about business opportunities he thought might interest me. My mother took longer to adjust, still trying to play peacemaker, still hoping for the daughter she'd always wanted me to be. But eventually, she too learned to accept the woman I actually was. 1 year after the wedding, I hosted a small dinner party in my penthouse. Not for family, but for the people who truly supported me. Mike from the coffee shop, who'd given me space to plan my revenge over countless cups of coffee. My real estate agent, who'd helped me secure my newest investment. My lawyer, who'd protected my interests without question. As we enjoyed dinner on my balcony, watching the sunset paint the city in gold, Mike raised his glass. To Victoria, he said, who turned a slap into an empire. I smiled, thinking about how that moment of public humiliation had led to this, not just financial success, but true independence. The ability to set boundaries, to demand respect, to live life on my own terms. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting better, stronger, wiser. And sometimes it's about learning that the family you choose can be more valuable than the family you're born into. I raised my glass to join the toast, finally at peace with all of it. The slap, the demands, the aftermath. They had tried to take my home, but instead they'd given me my freedom. And that was worth more than any penthouse.